curiosity, I thought I'd have a look at seeing whether I could actually recover these batteries. So the state of health on the large one, the 800 amp hour one, 80 amp hour one, 800 amp, the state of health was like 9%. State of charge was 0. And I think that wasn't far off it either. So I've just left that as it is. We wanted to see whether, despite the fact that we can probably get the charge up to 100%, what the state of health is going to be. So I'm just going to unplug that now and have a quick look and see if I can do this one-handed. So you can see that. Let's have a look. So car, out of vehicle. It is an AGM. I have no idea whether it's a flat plate or a whatever. Let's go, it says F21, so let's go flat plate. We're gonna go cold cranking amps, and it is 800. And let's do a test. So, the state of health is 71%, and the state of charge is 76%. So that battery's pretty shit. So 71% isn't great. It's putting out 573 amps, which is just not going to cut it on this. So what I am thinking of doing is on these NOCO Genius chargers, they have this thing called repair. The first one there. Basically, I believe it kind of shocks the battery. I will look up exactly what it does, but I'm going to try and do a repair of that. Now, I have no idea whether that's going to work or not, but we've seen what the state of health is. State of health is 71%, and the state of charge is 76%. And that's as high as it's going to go because it's been on charge for now for like well over 24 hours. So let's take this off. I'm going to run a repair and let's see if that works. So let's get this off. I believe with this, I think you have to "12-volt repair." There we go. So that is on there now. And let's leave that doing its repair business. I'm going to double check what flashing red means. It might mean no, it's knackered. So I'll look that up and I'll let you know. Okay, so I've just looked it up and you can't use repair mode on AGM batteries, which is a shame. So that's the best I'm ever going to get is 76% health or whatever it was. So that's going to need to go. It's only putting out 500 amps. It's just not going to get any better than that. However, this is a lead acid battery. This is just a standard wet battery. So I'm going to do a quick test now. And this is how bad this one is. State of health, 5%. State of charge, 0%. So the voltage is 9.94 volts. So this thing is about as bad as you're gonna get. So the chances are this is dead. So this will be a good one to try and see whether in fact this repair mode actually works. So I'm gonna plug in the NOCO, just as I was just about to do with the other one. And we're gonna do a repair and see whether or not it actually works. We're back at the Varta lead acid battery. What I read is that you're supposed to charge it first, so I have done that overnight. So I'm just gonna quickly do a test on to see where we're at now. That. Good battery, nice. 79% state of health. 100% charge. Right, so that's the most we're going to do by putting electricity into it. Now, what we're going to try and do is do the repair. So, 79 it was, wasn't it? State of health.
Yep.
So let's have a look at this then. So we go down to repair. So, it's now fully charged, 79% state of health. We're now going to run the repair. That runs 2 to 3 hours, and then it will go on to the amber light here to say it's been done. Then what we're going to do, we're going to check it again to see what the state of charge is. State of health is then. So it's 100% charged. It's the most electricity that can fit into it with the damaged cells that are in the battery. But with the repair function, we're going to see whether it actually does anything whatsoever. It's supposed to desulfate the battery or something like that. I'm not technical. This one we can't do a repair with because it's an AGM battery and you're not supposed to do it with AGM batteries. However, there is an AGM charging function on this, which I'm going to try again after that. So we'll have a quick look at this one. So that's a good battery, and to recharge it, state of health is 70%, recharge 36. Now I charged that completely up, so it's not holding charge. So I think that battery is probably too far gone. It's been used to crank in the past when they've been trying to start that car. So we will recharge this one anyway, and we'll try and do something with the AGM charger, but I think this one is probably a dead. We might be able to recover this one, that's not too bad. 79% is probably doable as a secondary battery. So we'll leave that running and we'll come back to that a bit later. Okay, so it's been on its repair. It's off that now and it's gone to the standby mode. So it's done a repair. So what we're gonna have a quick look at is see whether it's actually made any difference. Now it was at 79, wasn't it? I think it's the health. So let's have a look and see if it is still at 79. State of health 80, right. So strictly speaking, yes, it has improved by 1%.
That means it'll take like days for it to fully charge.
Wait, it's not there, it's fully charged.
Oh.
State of charge is 100%, but it's only putting out 436 amps. And it's supposed to be 540 amps. So I've lost 104 amps. So I might run another repair and see whether we can get that state of health any better. Okie dokie, so it's been on another repair. Where I have now. So we're going to see whether it made any difference this time around. Let's have a look. So it was on 79%.
It was on 80 last time because we did it twice.
It did. It went up to, remember. Yeah, so it went up to 80. 82. All right, so it is increasing. So do I just keep doing recoveries on it?
It would take like a week to do 90.
So, well, yeah, it may not ever get better, but it's getting better. 447 amps now. It'd be great to get up to like 500 amps.
That would be really
I don't know. Should we stick it on another repair?
Comment down. No, I'm joking. We probably will.
Let's stick it on another repair and see how high we can get it. Let's just keep doing it until it doesn't do anything. Yeah?
Yeah.
Let's do that. We'll get back to you again.
In like a week, probably.
Okay, we're back a bit later. Let's just see whether it has changed at all. We've done another repair on this 540 amp battery. Let's just see if this has made any difference at all. So let's do a quick test again. Time 83. So I don't know how much more I'm going to get. It seems to be like 1% each time. So I'm not going to keep doing it, I don't think. But it's putting out 450 amps. So we've lost 90 amps from its original battery. So yes, it does, recovery word does work to some degree, but not enough that you could bring a battery back from nothingness. So I am going to leave this on, do a full charge on this again, do a full charge on the 800 as well, and try and get these up to as best I can. But likely I'm probably going to replace them both. Right, we're doing one last part to this really interesting story. This has been on a full charge again, so I'm just going to see whether the health has improved. I don't think it will have now because I haven't done another repair, but let's have a look, shall we? 84. Okay, so that's as good as it's going to get on a normal charge. State of charge is 100%, state of health 84%. So that's not actually that bad. We might keep this as a secondary battery. Repair function does work, but it's not like you can get a battery that's got terrible health and you recover and you get 50% of its health back. It's not going to do that. But it might help keep a battery in good shape. So if it's a bit old, like a year old, maybe run a repair, something regular to desulfate, probably the right word, reasonably regularly, you might be able to keep the battery that bit longer. So it does work, but I don't think it does what probably people expect. Anyways, that's the end of that boring project.